Hi there, I'm Bobby T, and welcome to my new YouTube channel. On this channel, I'll be reviewing movies like I did when I worked in 3 different video stores. So, picture me as your own online video store clerk. For those of you too young to know what a video store was, picture Netflix as an actual walk-in store where every digital movie you see online is on rows and rows of bookshelves. In a box, you pay with actual paper money and not a debit card. People like me used to sit behind the counter and give personal recommendations based on what types of movies you liked. Yep, it really was that awesome. In today's episode, I'll be reviewing 1983's All the Right Moves, directed by Michael Chapman, starring a pre-Top Gun Tom Cruise, a pre-Footloose Chris Penn, a pre-Back to the Future Leah Thompson, and a pre-Coach Craig T. Nelson playing the coach. Let me read you the DVD cover. The only way football star Stefan Djordjevic, Tom Cruise, will avoid a life in the blast furnaces of his bleak Pennsylvania hometown is by winning a college scholarship. Even his coach, Craig T. Nelson, dreams of parlaying a winning team into a college job far from this graveyard of the American dream. But it's not long before the two virtually ruin each other's chances for escape, and their door to the future starts to close. Leah Thompson and Christopher Penn co-star. Now, I graduated high school in 1983, and I saw this in the theater its first week. There were a few high school girls there because Risky Business had just been released 2 months earlier and Tom Cruise was the hot newcomer. But I'm sure those girls couldn't have cared less about football, but seeing a glimpse of Little Tom on the 70mm big screen got him giggling. The movie opens in Untitled, Pennsylvania, where we see Steph is living with his dad and his older brother, who both work in the town's biggest industry, the dyeing steel mill. This is at the same time Billy Joel was singing his Allentown ballad about the steel industry dying across the Rust Belt, if that gives you any perspective. Anyway, every kid in Ampipe knows the only way out of the dead-end life of steel mill work is to play Pennsylvania football and hope for a scholarship out of town. The team's highly ranked, which means college scouts come knocking every day. Many scholarships have already been awarded to several players. The scouts have to go through head coach Nickerson to interview the players, which gives Nickerson power. Nickerson knows it and is a bully to his players. The players know it. The entire town knows it. Steph and the coach don't get along all the time, but Steph needs to be an engineer so he can stop living in poverty, and football is his only way out. As the team prepares for the biggest game of the season, where Coach Nickerson deploys a monumental defense to stop their heavily favored rival in a rain-soaked game, Steph and the rest of the team attempt to let off some steam whenever they can by partying and generally doing high school BMOC jock-type stuff. Steph wants to make it with his girlfriend Lisa because all of his buddies are having sex with their girlfriends, but Lisa's waiting for marriage and Steph gets frustrated. The game is particularly brutal in the rain and the mud, and some harsh words are said afterwards between Steph and Nickerson. Coach boots Steph off the team, and in the pivotal drive home, Steph does something he regrets that gets him blackballed by Nickerson altogether with college recruiters. Steph's attempts to get help from those same recruiters and townspeople falls on deaf ears now that he's off the team. With college out of reach, reality sets in. Steph quits school to start his dead-end life in the steel mill with his dad and brother. Lisa decides she's in love with Steph, and they make love. Steph's best friend Brian gets his girl pregnant and chooses to lose his scholarship to USC to be a father. Another teammate robs a liquor store and is arrested inside the school. Is the pressure too much for everyone? Will Steph and Nickerson's bitter feud continue so long that both men lose in the end? You gotta watch it to find out. You know, there's a lot to like about this movie. It isn't your standard John Hughes high school stuff about spoiled rich brats trading one-liners with clueless dull-witted adults until the inevitable happy ending for all, which is fine, but it isn't this high school. This film felt real. Some of us knew these kids, some of us were these kids. As I've always told my kids, sports are unfair just like life. This film made you experience their world in a dying steel town where hopes and dreams are shattered all around you. Your heart breaks for these kids and adults. It's a hard life that they're facing before even graduating high school. Stories based in reality are sometimes the best tales to tell. One of my favorite subplots was a second-string tailback named Vinny Salvucci that has a legendary prowess with girls in the school, but he has zero future prospects, so he turns to crime as his outlet. His arc is as heartbreaking as it is grounded in real life. It showed the desperation we're watching on screen. So, about that love scene between Tom Cruise and Leah Thompson. I heard that Tom and Leah both went undercover in the local Johnstown, Pennsylvania high school, and Tom had to leave after only 1 day due to being recognized from his role in the movie Taps. And Leah was asked out so many times by the local boys, she stopped counting, and she got caught for smoking. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Leah and Tom go full frontal for the only times in their careers thus far. Yes, that was one scene ruined by many pauses so many times on VHS. But let me forewarn you, if you intend on instantly clicking the Amazon link below and purchase the Blu-ray and fast forward to that scene. The Blu-ray has been edited above the waist. Yes, edited. The DVD, on the other hand, has not been edited. So just so you go in with both eyes open, or closed. So, my reaction to the film. I believe the writing was actually quite gripping and realistic. All of the actors were believable and sympathetic. Even the bullies seemed to have a backstory that made them think they were who they were. It was the system that was beating everyone down. It was up to the individual to cope and either break through to the other side or suffer a lifetime of misery in this one industry town that had its days numbered. It was timely and sobering stuff. The acting was phenomenal across the board. Cinematography is gritty, dark, claustrophobic, and stands out on the Blu-ray version. It's no wonder the director is also the cinematographer of such atmospheric masterpieces as Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, and The Fugitive. So, my overall report card looks like this. Does it stand the test of time? Absolutely, especially in this world of sports pressure on our youth. I give it an A, just as I'd give Fast Times at Ridgemont High an A, due to the subject matter even if the clothes are out of style. Story. I give that a B. Not your typical high school stuff, especially the older you get and look back at this era as one in that age group. I was vested in this town's tragic story. Underdog stories are some of my favorite tropes. The cast. Well, this is one of the easier A's I could give. The cast is full of talented actors, most just starting their careers. No surprise it was cast by Jane Feinberg, she of the Back to the Future, Blade Runner, Poltergeist, Raiders of the Lost Ark casting office. I'd actually give it an A+. Cinematography is a B. It's a little dark at times, sometimes to great effect, but others not so much. But it captured a dying steel town absolutely spot on, and I've already mentioned the director's photography skills on other films. The music was slightly above average, maybe a C or C+. It wasn't the Flashdance soundtrack, but then again, not every soundtrack is designed to sell a gazillion copies. So, overall, I'd give this movie a B+, bordering on an A- in the grand scheme of things. I do have one gripe though. I searched on IMDb as of this date, and it shows this movie has a 5.9 rating out of 10. That is just plain ridiculous. It is much better than that and worth a watch. Now at my video stores, I'd always offer recommendations for other movies in the same vein as the one you're watching right now, so I thought I'd bring that tradition forward here. Some recommendations for other movies with town high school age dramas are the aforementioned Flashdance. Yes, she of the Steel Town Girl on a Saturday night, dancing and welding her way into our hearts one song at a time. It's actually a pretty good movie, even if Jennifer Beals doesn't do all her own dancing. October Sky, which is the true story about a high school scientific wannabe rocket maker living in the giant shadow of his coal mining superintendent father's disapproval. And Rudy, a football movie about a 5'0" weighing 100 and nothing, and he had nearly a speck of athletic ability, and he hung in there with the best college football team in the land for 2 years. All good films. Well, that's it for All the Right Moves. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click the like button below. If you want to keep up to date on my future reviews, please click the subscribe button below. If you want to purchase All the Right Moves or any of the other titles I've mentioned earlier, please follow the Amazon link below and I'll get a small residual if you're so inclined. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, be sure to help others in need, even if you get nothing in return. Have a great week.